All right, welcome everybody to today's live webinar, Deploying App Delivery on Nutanix Infrastructure. Before we go ahead and get started, I want to do some quick housekeeping here and make some introductions as well as encouraging some Q&A throughout the presentation. So from the Array side, we have myself, Paul Anderson, Senior Director of Marketing here for Array. Also from Array, joining me is Abhishek Gupta, Senior Systems Engineer for the Western region. From the Nutanix side, we have joining us Rohit Goyal, who's a Product Marketing Manager from Nutanix. And I'm going to be giving the first portion of the presentation is going to be a little bit about Array Networks, and then a little bit of introducing the partnership with Nutanix and introducing the joint Array and Nutanix solution. And then I'm going to be handing the presentation over to Rohit to walk you through Nutanix and walk you through what they're doing and their value proposition. And also from Nutanix joining us is Tommy Gustafson, who worked with quite a bit from Alliance of Specialists that's working with us on this joint solution. So we've got everybody on the call here today, and that's a good thing. So we're going to go over the material of the presentation, but again, all four of us are going to be here at the end. So what I would encourage is if we're going through this and you have questions about Array Networks, questions about Nutanix, questions about the joint solution, we have both a Q&A window and a chat window in the WebEx platform. So go ahead and enter those questions along the way, and as we get to the end, then we'll work our way through those questions and hopefully get everything answered. At the end as well, while we're answering some of those initial questions, that'll give the rest of you time as well to think back on the presentation, and if you have any additional questions, you can enter in those questions at those times, and we'll go ahead and get to those. So with that said, we'll go ahead and get started. So some of you may have heard of Array Networks. I know we have a few Array Networks customers on the webinar today with us, but some of you may be new to Array Networks. So before I go too much into Array and the Nutanix solution, just want to give you a bit of background about Array Networks. So we've been around about just over 15 years now. So we were founded in 2000. We're headquartered here in Silicon Valley in Milpitas, California. Just about 250 plus employees. And the market that we're in, or the products and solutions that we offer, we consider those application delivery and security, or application delivery networking. So what does that mean? We started off back in 2000. Array was the first to do what we called the integrated traffic management appliance. So while all the others at the time, the Alteons, I think the AeroPoints, some of the others, while all these guys were doing just the traditional, very basic load balancing, Array was the first to introduce the idea or the concept of folding in things such as the connection multiplexing, the SSL offloading, the caching, compression, traffic shaping, web security, and beginning to fold those into what now has evolved to become known as an application delivery controller. And now there's a number of vendors in that market, but Array was the first to do it, to introduce that concept. We've been doing it for a long time, and as a result, we have a product that's very robust, very high quality, and we know what we're doing. We've been doing this for a while. Along the way, we got requests from the customers, things like, we need not just to have the availability and performance of these applications, but we need to be able to provide access to the applications, do it securely for, our end users. So we introduced along the way an SSL VPN secure access gateway. We've been doing that for well over 10 years. And then again, we were providing that increased efficiency, performance, scalability in the data center with our application delivery controller products. And customers that are wanting performance for their applications to give a good user experience for their end users said, hey, we need to also be able to accelerate these applications across the wide area networks, across the internet. So we introduced our WAN optimization controller product line. We've been doing that for quite a while. And most recently, again, with security becoming increasingly important, we've introduced a web application firewall product. So that rounds out our product portfolio. And this will begin to make sense a little bit as we move into the Nutanix solution. You'll begin to see that these are the networking functions that Array Networks is enabling for deployment in conjunction with or on the Nutanix platform. As far as the segments that we operate in, enterprise, obviously we've been doing that for a long time, as well as public sector, state and local government, education, and more recently with the rise of the cloud, we have a lot of new customers that use our products to power infrastructure as a service product, that using our products, selling app delivery as a cloud service, and also new customers that are standing up or ramping up software services, so offering software as a service in the cloud. Obviously, there's a big need there for to be able to scale those applications, scale them efficiently, cost effectively. There's a lot of SSL encryption that goes into supporting hundreds of thousands or millions of users on the software as a service platform, and having array in there is something that we're seeing a lot more of these days. So strong patent portfolio, strong customer base worldwide. I think that's an important point to touch on. I know a lot of the people that are joining us today are North America and Europe primarily, but Array Networks is a global organization. We have large operations, North America, Europe, China, India, Japan, some of our major markets. So it's well over 5,000 customers around the world. So below is a sampling, again, some of these, with respect to who's on the call today, sampling there of some of our North America and Europe enterprise customers. So, that's a little bit about Array Networks. If you want to know more about us, obviously you can check out our website or give us a call after today's webinar. So moving on to the topic of today's conversation, hyperconvergence. So, why are we talking about this? Why are we reaching out to Nutanix? Why are we working with Nutanix? Why are you on this call? Hyperconvergence is gaining tremendous traction, right? So when I talk to the guys from Nutanix, I mean, they're growing phenomenally, and that's driven by, customer and market demand for this solution. So looking at, some of what IDC is saying here, 54% of enterprises currently without a hyperconverged infrastructure that plan to deploy in the next 24 to 36 months. So, I mean, you've got over half of the people that are being surveyed saying they're looking at this technology over the next 2 to 3 years, which is pretty phenomenal. And as well, 2 times the expected growth rate of the hyperconverged market between 2015 and 2016. So, it's already big, and it's going to get even bigger this year. It's going to get even bigger next year. So this is something that people are interested in, and the reason why we're really want to work with Nutanix and put together some solutions that I think will be very interesting for you guys. So many of you've logged on to this webinar. You probably know what hyperconverged is, but just want to do a quick level set. So, what are hyperconverged systems, and why are they so popular? Well, the traditional data center, you have storage. That's one tier. And you've got your storage network. Then you've got your compute or your server, and then you've got your management that's trying to pull all these things together to work together. Very costly, very complex, and what hyperconverged infrastructure does is it collapses all that into what Nutanix is referring to as basically a kind of a web scale architecture. You've got the server, the compute, the storage, the management. It's all rolled into one appliance. You simply deploy your workloads on it, and as your needs or your throughput, your traffic demands increase, you simply plop down additional Nutanix appliances, and you're able to very seamlessly, very easily scale your workloads and your applications. So, I mean, all the benefits of reduced footprint, reduced complexity, ease of management, cost efficiency, these are all things that hyperconverged and Nutanix in particular bring to the table. And these are the reasons why people find this so appealing. So, transitioning off of hyperconverged and Nutanix there for a second, and moving more towards the array side of things. If you look at the bottom, the underlying infrastructure, you can see on the left there we have the traditional data center, which was represented on the left in the previous slide, and then the Nutanix hyperconverged infrastructure, the much more appealing web scale approach on the right there. But what it doesn't change is that, well, why do we have this underlying infrastructure? It's because we want to run application workloads, whether that's things like the Microsoft Solution Suite, Exchange, SharePoint, Lync, or Skype for Business, education, Oracle apps, ERP, CRM, VDI, doesn't matter. There's just tons of workloads, and this is the whole point. You're trying to run these workloads for your business, for your end users, and so these, in the traditional architecture, all of these applications required layer 4 through 7 services or application delivery services, such as what Array Networks provides, and so that hasn't changed. If you're running applications, you still need them to be highly availability. You still need to get the maximum performance out of them, so you meet SLAs, so you give your end users a premium experience. You still need security, right? Preventing attack, preventing data leakage. You still need control. Sometimes the application, the way it's written, doesn't serve the needs of your architecture or all your users. I need a method by which I can do some customization, some scripting, get some application behavior that I need for my particular implementation. I need to support mobility. I need to be able to scale all these things. That doesn't change. So you still need these layer 4 through 7 services in support of the applications, regardless of whether they're riding on the traditional infrastructure or on the newer Nutanix Hyperconverged infrastructure. Now, this is an eye chart here in terms of some of these layer 4 through 7 application delivery security features and capabilities. So I'm not going to even try to read through all these, but suffice it to say, Array, like I said, we've been doing this for quite a while, for well over 15 years, and just a number of features in terms of high availability, performance, security, control, access, you name it. We have a very, very robust feature functionality and capability portfolio that we can bring to the table in support of application workloads that are running on the Nutanix platform. So switching gears, this looks very similar to a slide that I just showed, 2 slides back. But what I've done is I've introduced a 4th tier here. And what I'm showing here is Array has the ability to provide the layer 4 through 7 services in a number of different flexible deployment models. So moving from left to right, we have our, the dedicated appliances, things that we've been doing for a long time. And on our website, you'll see the range of dedicated appliances that we offer, everything from the entry level, scaling all the way up well over 100 gig of throughput. So a very scalable lineup of dedicated physical appliances. And where does this come into play? Well, sometimes you have application workloads deployments that have extremely high throughput requirements, or you have application workloads that are very, very SSL intensive, and you prefer not to put that burden on the Nutanix platform. You can run a dedicated appliance to front end your Nutanix platform. Or in the case of existing Array customers, you already have an Array appliance. You can leverage it. You can position it right in front of the Nutanix, and you can continue to leverage that investment. Looking at the far right-hand side, you have Array Networks application delivery functions that are available as a virtual appliance, so pure software that can run on, essentially any hypervisor. So for people that maybe the workloads aren't as demanding, or you're looking to really take a software-centric or software-only approach, and you really don't want a lot of different appliances in your data center. You're really looking to consolidate on Nutanix infrastructure. You can go ahead and now begin to not only converge and collapse server, compute, management, or storage on the Nutanix platform, but you can also collapse the software versions of the application delivery functions that Array supports, also collapsing that onto the Nutanix platform for a very streamlined software-centric approach. And I'm not going to talk too much more right now because I have a slide on it later about Array's virtualized appliance. Suffice it to say that it bridges the gap. It's a hardware appliance that Array makes, but it's been virtualized, and it can run virtual editions of any Array's product on that hardware appliance, and you can mix them and match them. You can have different sizes, different functions. You can pay as you go. You can integrate with orchestration and management. But at the same time, it provides guaranteed performance for those application delivery networking functions. So it's kind of the best of both worlds, and it bridges the gap between the two. Point being, whatever your use case is, we have the flexible deployment models that will allow us to support that in conjunction with Nutanix. Well, I'll touch on this briefly because I think I made most of these points perhaps on the previous slide, but you can see here what that looks like. On the left there, you can see kind of the software-only approach where you see the array that's running on the Nutanix platform. On the far right, you can see array front-ending a Nutanix platform. And interestingly, in the middle, you can kind of see a hybrid approach here where you can deploy an array physical appliance in front of Nutanix, perhaps to do heavy lifting, SSL offloading, throughput, connection handling. But then you can also deploy some software versions of array on Nutanix closer to the applications where the knobs can be turned to provide specific configurations that are designed to optimize those particular applications. So using a physical appliance for edge work, heavy lifting, and then using software closer to the apps to really get them to behave the way you'd like them to. So again, virtual only for software-centric approach and highest levels of convergence. Physical as an edge device, offloading, and virtual closer to the apps. And physical only for applications with high throughput and encryption requirements. So now shifting gears a little bit to the relationship between Array and Nutanix. This is something now, we started to work with them in the second half of last year. So I think at this point we're going on 6 to 9 months of the relationship with Nutanix. And the first part of that relationship was making sure that everything works from a technical perspective. I mean, it sounded great, being able to collapse these application delivery layer 4 through 7 services onto the Nutanix platform. It's just a no-brainer, but we had to make sure that it works. So it was all the evaluation, testing, making our configuration guides, deployment guides, solutions, all the groundwork that went into this relationship. So we are a Nutanix Partner Network member, a certified Elevate Build partner for Nutanix. Nutanix has, you can see here, their Nutanix Ready logo and certification for networking and security, which we received. So both right now, in the first part of this presentation, I mentioned we have an ADC product, the SSL VPN product, the WAN product, the WAF product. Right now, our ADC product and our SSL VPN product are Nutanix Ready certified, and the other products are on the way in the roadmap. One of the cool things about Nutanix, and then one of the cool things about Array, is Nutanix is hypervisor agnostic. So whether it's VMware, Hyper-V, or Acropolis Hypervisor HV, Nutanix supports all of those, Array supports all of those. So whatever is your deployment model, whatever is your choice, you can get the Array app delivery functions to work on your chosen hypervisor to provide you with that application high availability, performance, and security. That's the first part of the equation. For most customers, when we talked about this, equally important, though, is the actual application workload. So not only are we certified for the Nutanix platform, we're certified with the ISVs and the software vendors that are making the application workloads that you're running in your data center. So, whether it be Microsoft, Exchange, SharePoint, Link, or Oracle, WebLogic, PeopleSoft, Horizon View, Zendesk, VDI, all of these ISVs and software vendors were certified. We have deployment guides, we have best practices, case studies, customer use cases, so that not only are we certified that things work well and like they're supposed to on the Nutanix platform, but also that they play well with the application workloads that you're running on the Nutanix platform. So with that, being able to provide the layer 4 through 7 services required. I mean, this is one of those things. We go out and look at a lot of the deployment guides that Nutanix is putting out, and just the way the software vendor is recommending or requiring in certain cases load balancing or layer 4 through 7 services to support their applications. Nothing changes. These are required services in many instances. And so with that said, that's the introduction portion there, both to Array Networks and to the solution, as well as the kind of the history of the partnership with Nutanix. But with that, I'd like to turn it over to Rohit and allow him to kind of let you hear it directly from them regarding Nutanix and what they're doing, their solution, and their value proposition. So give me a quick second here to make Rohit able to Control this screen. And one moment here. All right.
All right. Great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that introduction, Paul, and thank you for the attendees taking the time today to join us on this webinar. Put on by Array. I think it's a great partnership, and I'm going to walk you through the Nutanix value prop. So most of you may have heard about Nutanix, but for those who haven't, we make data center infrastructure invisible, and we've been doing it since 2009 with over 1,300 employees. We've got, well over 2,000 customers. We're a global organization, and we've got, great support as well. We're actually named a leader by Gartner in the integrated systems category, for our vision and our strategy. So I want to walk through a little bit about the evolution of the enterprise, and give you a sense of how that plays out. So if you look at businesses, they typically depend on IT to compete effectively through IT platforms, and then they can enable new business models that way. Right? They want to quickly deliver new products and services based on market demand and get rich, actionable insights. But what ends up happening is that IT can't deliver what the business needs. So if you go back about 15 or 20 years ago, apps ran on dedicated servers with storage directly attached. This worked great for a few apps, but as you add more apps, it becomes more complex and it's harder to scale. Right? So then there's these resource inefficiencies and overutilized servers that you can't use the capacity on, and then you have an introduction of virtualization. Virtualization comes in and solves this problem by decoupling applications from the physical servers and making compute a scale-out resource. But in order for virtualization to become enterprise-ready, you need things like live migration, vMotion, VM high availability, DRS, and so on. So this created a need for shared storage across physical servers, and SAN wasn't created with virtualization in mind. But it was the only proven technology. Architecturally, SAN is great. It's a scale-up storage system, but you have to decide capacity and performance ahead of time, and then you end up with multiple storage systems that become resource silos. The problem with this is that with virtualization, compute is a scale-out resource, but it's trying to work with storage, which is a scale-up resource. So this really introduces complexity at every step. Legacy architectures make every step of the infrastructure lifecycle more complex, from buying to deploying to managing, scaling, and supporting. You buy storage in big increments, and then you end up over-provisioning it. Right? You want to reduce the risk for future growth. Deploying this infrastructure stack takes typically days or weeks. You have to install the solution from 5 or 6 vendors, and then you have the SAN, fiber channel switches, servers, HBAs, and so on. Then you have to check all the components. Do they work together? Are they easy to manage? Companies typically then look at having dedicated teams focused on each part of the infrastructure. And then you go down to managing this infrastructure. It's complex and it's not easy, right? Admins have to manage each component separately: storage, networking, servers, and virtualization. Take it a step further, you have to piece it all together, right? So which makes automation nearly impossible. As your needs grow, scaling this stuff should be easy because of the scale-out architecture, but storage and storage networks are painful, and it ends up taking days and weeks. And finally, you have slowdowns in apps or issues that are hard to get to the root cause of with all these vendors. All this complexity means IT teams have to focus on day-to-day tasks rather than actually driving business value. So how should infrastructure be delivered? Public cloud services have raised the bar, right? So if you look at how infrastructure needs to be delivered in the enterprise, a lot of people are looking at these public cloud services in the way that they're delivering it. Business leaders want agility and that elasticity that the cloud offers to take on this uncertainty, right? So they like the pay-as-you-grow model. Public clouds are also incredibly simple to use, and even IT generalists can manage cloud resources easily. At the same time, enterprises also want security and control that those private data center infrastructures offer. They can define SLAs to meet their business units' needs and really comply with those data privacy issues. So the solution is, let me just draw this out for you guys. So the solution is Nutanix and how we solve the infrastructure problem. Nutanix really pioneered the concept of hyperconverged infrastructure and natively converges the compute and storage into an x86 server with flash, hard disk drives in an easy-to-manage cluster. Customers can start with a small footprint, so you don't have to go and buy tons of storage. You easily get 3 nodes in as little as 2 U rack space, and then you can add compute and storage when needed. Hyperconvergence radically simplifies this, right? So it's easy to deploy, manage, and it reduces that footprint and overall IT infrastructure by up to 90%. So, how did we build it, right? So let's look a little bit about the web scale engineering. So when we set out to solve the legacy architecture problem, we looked at hyperscale companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, and said, how did these guys solve it? These guys, these companies push the limits of the infrastructure in ways that traditional businesses did not. These companies needed better business agility to push out new apps and services faster. They ran into limitations of legacy infrastructure architectures. So what they did is they went out and hired a bunch of PhDs to come up with a new approach to solving infrastructure and IT problems, which we call web scale IT. They started with commodity off-the-shelf servers, x86 servers with storage built in, with software on top of those that pooled that storage together. All of this is intelligence is software, which is 100% distributed, so there's no bottlenecks as the system grows. They also built layers of software resiliency, knowing that hardware can fail. They built it for always-on operation to reduce that downtime. Now, take a second and think about, the last time Facebook actually, took down their services for a maintenance. I can't think of one. These systems use extensive automation and rich analytics. In the average data center, you have one admin managing 200 to 400 servers. Now think about in a web scale world, you can have one admin managing 20,000 servers. This is possible because the system is fully automated. Web scale architectures gave these companies a competitive edge. This allowed them to grow their footprint linearly and predictably on demand without limits. They're able to lower their TCO and deliver great business agility. Nutanix brings this power web scale to the enterprise infrastructure. The Nutanix solution is built from the ground up using that same web scale technology and architecture. So customers get the benefit of web scale architectures without having to go hire their own PhDs and build everything from the ground up. So let's take a look at the Nutanix architecture. The Nutanix solution is deployed in a cluster of servers or nodes starting with 3, like I mentioned before. Each node has CPU, memory, flash, storage, and HDDs, and a hypervisor, and they're connected through a 10 gig switch. The Nutanix software runs in user mode VMs called controller VMs, or CVMs, on each node in the cluster. The CVMs talk to each other and create a single storage pool using drives on all the nodes in the cluster. This is what we call our distributed storage fabric, or DSF. DSF distributes all the data and metadata across all the nodes in the cluster and provides storage features like dedupe, compression, cloning, tiering, resiliency, in a truly distributed manner. So think about that. Now you've distributed everything across, and you don't have any more single points of failures or hotspots. This scales out the architecture and allows you to grow by adding nodes when you need without limits. You get linear, predictable performance. Capacity increases as the cluster grows. It's really that simple. The Nutanix solution delivers data locality to provide the best VM and cluster performance. All the IOs from the VMs are handled by the local controller on that node. So let's talk about a quick write scenario. So when a VM writes data, one copy of the data is written to the local node. That way that we can service those read requests directly and immediately using data on that same node without having to go over the network. And if the VM moves to another node, the data will eventually follow it and move over to that node as well. Again, the Nutanix solution is 100% software and doesn't rely on custom hardware. So let me talk about a little bit of the business benefits. So Nutanix approach to infrastructure offers real, tangible, material benefits to customers in terms of greater agility, faster time to value, and lower total cost of ownership. So we conducted this IDC report, talking to our customers, and we got a great bunch of feedback. Customers get over 500% ROI over a 5-year period and up to 60% lower TCO within a 7.5-month payback period. The biggest benefits in terms of lower operational expenses, our Nutanix system really reduces the time to management by over 70%. And we reduce unplanned downtime occurrences by 98%. So a lot of people think about Nutanix and they really go towards the VDI solutions of the world, but Nutanix really takes on the entire enterprise application stack, right? So we've got customers globally that are running it for various use cases, right? From Microsoft, to Splunk, to big data. People are thinking about how they can build their own private clouds, right? Nutanix really bridges that private cloud and public cloud services, through some of the Cloud Connect options that we have as well. So I want to hand this back over to Paul.
All right, thank you, Rohit. Let me take a quick second here and give myself return control to myself here. I think I got this. Yep. All right, so you saw on that, actually that's a great transition there. You saw there all the different application workloads and that Nutanix supports, and so most of those, Array has overlap with most of those as well. So there are a lot of different application workloads that Array can support on Nutanix. If you go to our website, you go to the application section, you're going to see a long list of the various different ISVs and software providers and applications that Array is certified for and supports. Since we have somewhat limited time here today, what I really wanted to do was focus and emphasize on 4 key solutions or 4 solutions that I think are unique that Array can bring to the table with Nutanix. And those are the validated solutions with Microsoft App Delivery, secure access both for mobility and for secure access for remote cloud management. I talked about it a little bit earlier, our Array virtualized appliance, where you can run on Array hardware that's been virtualized. You can run various different virtualized application delivery and security functions, as well as what I think is a really compelling value proposition, running Array in conjunction with Acropolis Hypervisor or AHV. So let's take a look at a few of those. The Microsoft validated application delivery. So for whether we're talking about Exchange, SharePoint, Lync, or Skype for Business, or TNG, ADRMS, ADFS servers, there's a lot more Microsoft applications as well that we support. We're validated with Microsoft for these particular applications, and can run, again, either on the Nutanix platform, front-ending the Nutanix platform, doing load balancing, traffic management for 24/7 uptime, providing acceleration and improved performance through things like SSL offloading, compression, caching, traffic shaping, in many instances getting 10x better efficiency out of the infrastructure that we front-end, as well as bringing security to the table and providing a first line of defense at the application level, not only through the SSL encryption, but also through integrated web application firewall, web proxy, providing that application level data protection. So if you're running Microsoft workloads and applications, Array is a fantastic fit for that. Taking a look at secure access for mobility and remote sites. So again, Rohit mentioned that many people are looking at standing up their own private clouds, leveraging Nutanix to create their own private cloud that has that web scale technology built in. And these infrastructures that are being built out there in various data centers around the world, customers need a means by which to remotely access those distributed data centers and those private clouds. And by having running Array's SSL VPN on the Nutanix platform gives you a built-in method to provide remote and mobile access for your IT admins to gain access and manage this infrastructure basically from anywhere. Not only that, but with that same SSL VPN Array appliance running on the Nutanix platform, you can stand up another domain or division or virtual portal that's designed to give your customers or your end users or your employees remote and mobile access and BYOD access to any of those application workloads, whether they be Microsoft, VDI, you name it. So really, I think a differentiator there. There are some other companies that do load balancing, app delivery, acceleration, but not very many of them bring to the table a secure access platform, an SSL VPN that's as robust and as capable as what Array brings to the table, and you can run that directly on the Nutanix platform. So we think that's also a very differentiator and unique solution with Array and Nutanix. I talked a little bit about this, the Array virtualized appliance. So what this is and what this graphic here represents, I said earlier, the agility of cloud and virtualization with the performance of dedicated appliances. So if you were to, just the way that the Nutanix is a platform, this is a platform here. And, if you had, let's say, 2, 3, 4 Nutanix appliances, but then you had 1 or 2 of these Array AVX appliances, you could use the Array AVX appliance as that dedicated appliance to run virtualized, app delivery and security functions. So, looking at this graphic here, you're able to do flexible size options. So if you needed more horsepower for load balancing and app delivery, but then maybe a little less horsepower for some of the secure access requirements or WAN op requirements, you can assign large, medium, small, entry-level virtual machines within this appliance to meet your specific requirements in any mix and match configuration. Multiple networking functions. So again, if you want the ADC load balancing, the web app firewall, the SSL VPN, you can mix and match those however you are required. And of course, additional functions both from Array, but also from other third parties in the future that can run on this platform. Pay-as-you-go capacity. You don't have to buy the whole appliance at one time. You can buy a quarter capacity of it, and then as your needs grow, buy half, three-quarter, or full capacity. So you see we're bringing a lot of these cloud virtualization web scale concepts into this appliance. And of course, management integration, automation is key. We integrate with things like VMware, Microsoft, OpenStack, Neutron, stuff like that, to help to orchestrate and automate some of the network functions that are on this AVX appliance. But the really unique thing about this appliance that's unique to Array is that many appliances that allow you to run multiple virtual instances on a single piece of hardware, it's best effort. They cannot guarantee performance for the constituent network functions or virtual machines on the platform. Array can. For each of the virtual machines, regardless of its size, regardless of its function, we allocate dedicated CPU, dedicated SSL, dedicated memory, dedicated interfaces, and we also hold back resources for hypervisor management to eliminate contention. So we have specific specifications for each of these functions, for each of these size virtual machines, and that is what you get, no exception. So if you have business-critical applications that have SLAs, you want all this flexibility of cloud and virtualization, but you have to meet those performance requirements, this platform can get it done. If you're reselling or offering services based on this platform, the customers are buying something, and you have to give them what they paid for, this platform can allow you to do that. So in many ways, the Nutanix is a platform, and this AVX is a platform. I think they actually share a lot of similar value proposition, and I think it's unique to Array and also is very of interest to a lot of the customers that we're talking to. And finally, you know, I think we all know there's a range of different, like I said, Array is not the only application delivery and load balancing vendor in the market. You know, and there's a lot of different hypervisor vendors that are out there. So some hypervisors and some alternative app delivery vendors, you know, may have a bigger share of the market than others. You know, but there's always a trade-off, and you know, some of these hypervisors and some of the other application and load balancing vendors comes at a premium cost. And one of the unique things, so many businesses are at a place where they're seeking to meet their technical requirements, but while at the same time driving down cost and complexity. And I think that's one of the key core value propositions of Nutanix Acropolis Hypervisor, or AHV. Extremely robust, but also very cost-effective as compared to some other hypervisors. And Array, the same exact thing. Very robust in terms of our reliability, our track record, our features and functions, our performance and scalability, but as compared to some alternative load balancing and application delivery vendors out there, we are extremely cost-effective. And so I believe that the combination of these two is very compelling for meeting those technical requirements, but really driving down cost and complexity. And that's something to where if you're interested in that, go ahead and reach out to us after the webinar. So with that, I'm going to begin to wrap it up with just summarizing some of the benefits of Array and Nutanix, and then also some quick differentiators on Array. So, you know, benefits of deploying Array with Nutanix. So Array is certified both with Nutanix as well as certified on the ISV, on the software vendors. We're certified on all those. I just think that's critical. It's not just about being a Nutanix certified partner that the product works on Nutanix. It's the fact that, you know, like with Microsoft, Oracle, SAP, others, we're certified with them as well. We know these things are going to work. Streamlined data center infrastructure. So again, these are just similar concepts, managing fewer disparate physical appliances, reduce the space, power, cooling requirements, and again, the flexible deployment model. So, you know, gaining access to guaranteed performance where throughput and SSL are key considerations. So it doesn't matter which direction you're going, whether you're really going software-centric, we got it covered. Whether you need the layer 4 through 7 services, but also need the performance and throughput, we got you covered there as well. And again, reiterating that superior value when you combine Array with the Nutanix AHV, the Acropolis Hypervisor. The graphic there just showing that, hey, it's hypervisor agnostic, whether you want our ADC load balancing or our SSL VPN, you can run it on AHV, VMware, Hyper-V, etc. With respect to Array and just in general why people pick Array networks in terms of their application delivery, load balancing, application security requirements, where we really shine, layer 7 and SSL performance. A lot of load balancers do a decent job at layer 4, both in terms of the features and what they can do, and also in terms of the performance. But layer 7 is really what separates the, you know, boys from the men or whatnot, and it's really where we shine, is in our layer 7 performance and also our SSL performance and also our SSL price performance. And with our layer 7 functionality, we're able to enable a lot of a lot of complex layer 7 functionality, but also without impacting performance. Simplified management, this is also another key differentiator for Array. When I look at some of our competition, some of the other application delivery load balancing vendors out there, they have a lot of capability, but they're very complex and require a lot of scripting in order to get the functionality you want out of the product. That means you need to have either an in-house expert or a lot of professional services to get the application layer functionality you want out of the ADC. What Array has done is, over the years, all the functions, features, capabilities that we've seen customers use, that we know applications require, we've built those in as CLI commands and point-and-click web UI commands, so that configuring our box is something that it doesn't matter if you have a medium-sized or large or a small-size IT department. Basically, anybody is capable of configuring application-level functionality, but doing it in a very simple way, such that, hey, someone new comes in, takes over, they can come up to speed, they can know how to operate that box. Reduce vulnerability, things like, for instance, Heartbleed, the Bash shell shock, Ghost, most recently Drown. A lot of these vulnerabilities in some of the ones I mentioned, particular to OpenSSL, a lot of our competition or alternative vendors have to do all kinds of patches, all kinds of remediation. Array has never had to do that. So we definitely take a security-centric approach where we have hardened OS, we have a proprietary SSL stack, and by doing that, not only do we get better performance, but we're much less prone to the various vulnerabilities that you hear about with respect to app delivery or SSL or something similar. Scalable and future-proof. So again, this is kind of a multi-dimensional thing. When it comes to our physical appliances, we go all the way from entry level at the 1 gig throughput to well over 120, 140 gig in throughput. So if you're just talking about the physical appliances, your needs grow. They all run the same operating system. You can pull one in, put another in, and very scalable in terms of the physical appliances. Now, future-proof, scalable in terms of cloud, virtualization. We support all the hypervisors. We also support our product in AWS, in Azure, in vCloud Air, in IBM SoftLayer, in Alibaba Aliyun. So, we talk a little bit, and I know in working with Nutanix that they have hybrid cloud solutions that allow you to, run Nutanix in their private data center, but also burst application workloads to public cloud. We support all that as well. So we have very scalable, very future-proof. And last but not least, superior price and value. So it doesn't matter how much something costs if it can't get the job done. The difference with Array is in terms of features, performance, reliability, everything. We can meet those technical requirements, and we can do that at a fraction of the price, up to half the price of what you would be looking at for some alternative vendors. So that, now we're really closing in on the end of it, things here. One thing I wanted to make, a point I wanted to make is I talked early on in the presentation that we spent a lot of the first half or the second half of last year doing the groundwork for this solution, and we have a lot of resources in place to learn about this, to deploy this. So, we'll be sending this presentation out to everybody. It has these links in there. They're also on our website. If you go to the Hyperconverged Solutions webpage, that we've got, blogs and thought leadership we've been doing, top 10 reasons to deploy Array on Nutanix. We've got solution briefs for our ADC and our SSL VPN, deployment guides. And in addition, if, I know we have some Array customers, some Nutanix customers that are on this webinar, we'll be participating and playing a role in the .next conference that's coming up here this summer. So if that's something that you're attending or on your radar, definitely encourage you to come and talk to us and learn more about the solution out there. In addition, if you're interested in Array, or that's any of our products, I encourage you to go to our website. You'll see prominently displayed Try Array Today, and you can go in here and get a free 30-day trial version of any of our products. You can go ahead and download that and begin to kind of get your hands on the technology and begin to really learn about it and see what it can do. So for those that are interested, I would encourage that. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up our chat and Q&A window and see about what questions we have here. So first question we have here is, how do the Nutanix nodes scale? Can you add compute nodes or storage nodes to scale either independently of the other? So Rohit, I'll go ahead and let you field that one.
Yeah, sure. So you can, the Nutanix solution allows you to scale seamlessly, adding compute and storage nodes to your solution. We've got various flavors of hardware that you can choose from between, Lenovo, Dell, and then we've got, our own branded NX appliances. They vary in different CPU and memory and storage capabilities, and we've got a great sizer tool that allows you to kind of scope out your entire infrastructure and deploy it in in a one-time fashion instead of going out and looking at traditional solutions and building them out and then realizing that you've kind of either overbought or underbought and then have to go back to the well and rebuild your solution. So we've got options for that because we understand that there's no one size that fits all.
Great, thank you. So another one so this is actually from an Array customer. So they're saying that, like I talked about, that the approach that Array takes with security and minimized exposure to vulnerabilities as being one of the reasons they actually picked Array. Just wondering, maybe you can speak a little bit. Does Nutanix have a similar mindset or take a similar approach when it comes to security and vulnerabilities?
Oh, that's a great question, and Nutanix definitely does. We basically focus on three aspects of it. Our platform automation, and then working with partners like Array, who kind of blend into this ecosystem. So in our platform section, we've done things around a secure development lifecycle, meaning that every part of our code is tested and hardened before it comes out to production. We also enable things like two-factor authentication. We disable basic shell logins and try to force using certificates and things like that. And then with our automation portion, which a lot of our the other vendors out there don't have today, we build everything off NIST standards, and we use secure technical implementation guides. And then using those guides, we actually build that into our system so that they run automatically in the background, keeping you in compliance, so that somebody inadvertently changes something in the platform, you don't get out of compliance. It'll go back and put that back into compliance for you, and then you can run reports and hand that over to your security team.
Awesome. So actually, a couple of quick housekeeping. So again, somebody asked, is the presentation going to be made available? So the answer is yes. So directly after this webinar concludes, PDF version of the presentation goes out, and in 1 or 2 days, a recording of the webinar itself is posted to Array's YouTube page, YouTube/Array TV, and we will send out a quick notice to all the registrants and attendees with the recording of the webinar. So I know that's important to a number of people that might find this compelling or interesting, and then you want to take some of that information or share some of that with maybe with their management or with other team members. So we'll be making all that available. I'm going to go ahead. We're getting close to the hour. I'm going to go ahead and keep plugging away on some of these questions, and we'll see if we get cut off here. But I'm going to try to get to as many of them as possible. So if you want, go ahead and stay on, and we'll see how many of these we can get to. So again, Rohit, a couple of things. I think I can combine a couple of these questions. Is there a minimum size requirement for the Nutanix cluster, and how many nodes are required to start with and the licenses?
So we recommend that customers start with 3 nodes in the cluster, and that's really for the the replication factor, right? You want that that high availability built into your cluster. We make it, again, easy enough for customers to go in, and similar to the question from before, where we have CPU, memory, and storage capabilities across the varying hardware platforms that we offer. And depending on the use case that you're looking at solving, you can slice and dice this. And then we've got tools that are available to you, like the sizer tool, and then we've got our again, our global services org, which you can come in and really solidify the solution for you to make sure that your applications will get the the performance and reliability that you're looking for.
Quick question here, I guess more of a business question. How is your presence in Europe, UK in particular, any UK subsidiary partners? So I'll just talk from the Array perspective. We actually have a distributor, Big Tech, which is a subsidiary of Exclusive Networks, and I know for a fact they're a big distributor of Nutanix products. So this is something we're actually doing some sales enablement, some partner enablement with Big Tech regarding the joint Array and Nutanix solution. So definitely we can follow up more on that. I don't know, Rohit, if you have anything to add to that as well.
No, I think you covered it.
Okay. Quick ones for you, actually. So do you have to use AHV, and where can I find more information on AHV?
Sure. So you do not have to use AHV, right? So customers today, they can have VMware, ESXi or Microsoft Hyper-V as their virtualization solution. What we do is we offer AHV at no cost to the customers, and allow them to basically have a hypervisor solution to be able to run a lot of their workloads without incurring that V tax. Right. So, but if you do have existing, environments, with the VMware or Microsoft solutions, you can definitely run it on the Nutanix platform. And then to find out more information about AHV, you can go to our website. We've got data sheets, solution briefs, several customer case studies and videos that'll walk you through end to end how this works.
So it looks like we have two more questions. I think we'll be able to squeeze these in. So this one, you mentioned using both hardware and software app delivery solution along with Nutanix. Can you give me some more information on when or how you might take this approach? Holly, I'll actually have you talk to that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great question. Basically, the scenario where the customer defines the needs of a hardware and software solution. We have SaaS service providers who have thousands of layer 7 service policies for redirection, rewrite, response, caching, compression. And when the user performance needs to be highly evaluated, we would request you in high performance needs, the hardware would be a preferred option. There are scenarios where the hosting site has different customers, and each silos could be actually a virtual instance, either a software depending on the performance, or it could be a virtual instance on the high-performance guaranteed hardware from AVX. So the use cases could differ, but it is mostly driven around the performance or how the hardware could be shared between different customers so that the performance, while the new workloads and customers are added, do not degrade the overall scenario for all the other shared users. That's where the hardware and software differentiation makes a lot of sense.
And looks like the last question here. What operating systems, this is for, looks like Nutanix, what operating systems do you support as guest OSs on the AHV?
Great question. So we support, a plethora of operating systems from Windows Server, 2008, 2003, Windows 7. We've also got, Microsoft SVPP certification. You can run, CentOS, SUSE Linux, Oracle, Enterprise Linux, lots of other flavors of Linux on there. So we offer, what the enterprise is looking for, and we're continually certifying some of these the operating systems, trying to keep pace with innovation and making sure that enterprises don't have to take on the burden of testing out the applications.
All right, so I did a quick check here. I think that was our last question. So went a little bit over, but actually I think it was a great session. So with that, we'll actually conclude today's webinar. Before we do, though, definitely just want to, again, thank Rohit and thank Nutanix for making the time to join us today. And,
thank you, Paul.
No, absolutely. And, yeah, again, we'll be following up. We'll be sending stuff out. If you have any questions, go ahead and, just reach out either to myself or reach out to your Nutanix rep or your Array Networks rep. And with that, we'll conclude today's webinar. Thank you, everybody.